Strand 200 series. My name is Matthew Cochrane. Now, you already know how to use the board on the single scene and the two scene levels, and you also know how to effectively write notes in your script. That way you can run the show. In this video, I will be showing you how to program the board under the mode SubMaster. Let's head up to the booth. So let's get right on into it. Now, provided that the last person to use the board successfully cleared all of their presets, which I would recommend you do after every show, you will notice that each fader doesn't do anything anymore. So fader 1, fader 2, fader 3, which traditionally would be area 1, 2, and 3 respectively, doesn't do anything. That's because SubMaster mode works a little bit differently than two scene and single scene. In two scene and single scene, what you have is each fader is connected to a dimmer. So fader 1, dimmer 1, fader 2, dimmer 2, etc. All a dimmer is a series of lights connected into an electrical outlet known as a circuit. That circuit then becomes a dimmer, and the lighting board sees that dimmer as a controllable fader. The reason why it does this is so you can control the intensities of the light. That way, if you want something at 50%, you can have that light at 50%. So in SubMaster mode, each fader now becomes a series of dimmers instead of just one. This makes things considerably easier if you have a lot of quick transitions or a really complicated cue to perform that you just can't get using single scene or two scene mode. In SubMaster mode, you get access to every fader on the board as its own program. Then this page button here will allow you to switch between two virtual pages, each with their own set of cues. For Little Shop of Horrors, for instance, we programmed Act 1 into page 1 and Act 2 into page 2. That way, at intermission, you just switch over and you have a whole new set of cues. Because you can use the top and bottom rows as individual faders, together with the page button, you have a combined total of 96 SubMasters. So how you program the board is actually quite simple. Let's use Little Shop again. So to start, enter into two scene or single scene mode. And LX1 is showing us that we need to bring up dimmer 20 at 100%. So let's bring that up. Now that we have our scene set, you enter into the record mode. How you do that is by hitting this record button. The LED light above the record button should start flashing red. That indicates that the board is now in record mode. You then program it into whatever fader you want. That fader then becomes known as a SubMaster. So for our purposes, let's actually program it into fader 1, or SubMaster 1. Just hold in this black button, known as the flash button, hold that in, and then 1, the number corresponding to the fader, should start flashing amber above it. That indicates that the board is programmed based on your preset. Exit record mode by hitting that button again, and bring out all of your faders. Switch back into SubMaster mode and try out your new programmed fader. It should be exactly what you programmed it in single scene or two scene mode. You then repeat this process for every one of your cues. Now, in the note-taking video, I did show you how to run the show using two scene mode on a scene from Little Shop of Horrors, the prologue. I'm now going to show you that same clip again, but using SubMaster mode. So I'm going to go ahead and program the board for the first scene. So for LX2, it looks like we need dimmer 4 and 20 at 100% with dimmer 14 at 50. What's nice about SubMaster mode is that you can program different level intensities into each one of your SubMasters. So let's start by entering back into two scene mode, bringing out dimmer 20 at 100, dimmer 4 at 100, and dimmer 14 at 50. Follow the same procedure into record mode, and you choose your SubMaster. Because I'm a visual learner, I do things in patterns when I program the board. So I typically start on the top row, and I move down and across for each scene. So I'll explain what that means, I'll show you what that means as I go along. So I'll program the next part of this cue, or the next part of this scene, into SubMaster 25. Press and hold the flash button, amber light starts flashing, exit record mode, bring out all the dimmers, go back to SubMaster mode, and you can try out your brand new SubMaster. So I'll continue on programming the rest of the board back into two scene mode. LX3 shows dimmer 2, 3, and 14 at 100. So I'll bring 2 and 3 up, 14, 100, record, next fader, or SubMaster, bring those out. LX4 calls for dimmer 2 and 3, so I can just program that into the next one, exit that, and then for LX5, because this is a new scene, I'll use the top row. So it's showing 2, 3, 5, 6, and 7. Record that, and as you can see, all your program submasters are flashing. So I'll just program that into the next one, SM4, right at the top there. Exit record mode, bring these out, go back to SubMaster mode, and I now have my entire scene ready to be programmed or run. I apologize. Now what happens if you need to edit a scene or you have to delete a scene or anything like that? Well, there's an LCD menu on the board that will allow you to edit all the settings and all the commands that are available for the board. If you need to erase all of the board presets, so at the end of your show when you no longer need to program anything, you want to go into the third submenu here, which is Setup, and you want to use the arrow keys to make your way down to Console Default. Now click on Confirm. It's going to ask you one more time, because what this is going to do is completely erase everything on the board. So all your submasters, all your effects, all your settings that you've actually changed on the board itself, it's going to be reset to when you first get the board, factory fresh kind of thing. So we're going to say yes. So it's just completely erased the board. It then takes you back to the main menu. So if you want to edit a scene or to delete a scene, or an entire page for that matter, just go into the Scene menu. Make your way down using the left and right arrow keys to edit a scene, and you click Confirm. It's then going to ask you what page is it on, so for us 1, and then on what scene? Oh, 1, so SubMaster 1. Now you can select other scenes and just jump to them. You just hit the flash button underneath the corresponding fader. So let's say you want to do SubMaster 14, it then switches to SubMaster 14. But let's go back to 1. And what it's going to show you is that each one of these numbers, CH for channel, channel is just another word for dimmer. And then you can actually set the levels, so light level for LL, of each individual light. So use the arrow keys to move from each channel to another one. Now this is based on single scene and 2 scene mode. So say you want area 2 at full. So if you hit this button here that says at full level, punch that in, it goes to FL. What that means is it's now at full level. But let's say you wanted area 3 at only 50, well, this number pad down here is going to actually, you can enter it in, so you can go 5, 0, and it actually enters it in at 50. And you can just move on from there. If you want to play around and just test it out, just click Escape. That way it doesn't save anything. But if you want it to save what you're doing, click Confirm, and it's already programmed in. Now if you want to delete what you just made, or delete another scene for that matter, just go down one more to 4, delete scene, you click Confirm, and then that gives you the option to delete an entire page or to delete just one scene. For us, let's go delete one scene. It then asks you what page and what scene is it on. So, page 1, scene 1, confirm, delete the scene, yes. So it's now deleted. If you want to delete more scenes, just use the plus and minus arrow keys to go up and down, or just use the flash button to select it exactly. So let's get out of there and click escape to get back to the main menu. So this is the board at the SubMaster level. If this was a little bit too complicated for you, be sure to check out my other video, The Basics, where I go over single scene and 2 scene modes, as well as the basic areas on the stage. If you'd like to learn a little bit more about this board, check out my other video based on effects, or check out the Strand website, where you can actually download the user manual and figure out everything there is to about this board. But for now, hope this helps, and happy theater going!